Alright, I'm going over a language here. Well, this is not I'm constructing a language here. I'm using vocabulary that every single one of this row here is a direct sound shift from Spanish. This is a vocabulary I got from a list of English, which I had translated to Google Translate in Google Sheets into Spanish. And this is the Spanish vocabulary right here. This is the Spanish row, and I'm going to change the color on this. This is the one a little lighter than that. I don't like that. A little more. No, not so. How's that? I want a little more color in it though, like custom. Here we go. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, let's put a little bit more. That works good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Except I want this to be all the same. There we go. And because this row is well, I have the sound change right here. This spreadsheet here. Each row is in this spreadsheet. I'm going to go into details each row of this spreadsheet. I call it this is called 13K words because it started out with this vocabulary of English, and I've just established it or expanded it into other categories. Here is this. Okay, these two categories. These two. I should move this back over here. Okay, there we go. This column is frequency, and this is something that's been simplified into an integer from the larger unit. Just simplified. It was on this chart originally. It was broken down into more decimal places. I just simplified it into. These are separate categories. These would be vocabulary levels of frequency, I suppose. Like levels of frequency that like the lower the number, the more frequently the word. It's like the word "the" is the most common word, which in this language here, "o" and actually no "la" in Spanish, but it's just two, and see, and then you get these are pretty common words. But this has come up twice, but this is like a different. This is here as this is okay. Here are the columns. These two. Okay, these are. Let me get to the columns. This column is frequency and the most rare words down here. Yale educated, toe tapping, vomiting. I'm glad to see that vomiting is rare, but I believe vomiting really does not belong. Vomiting does not belong on. Considering Leah or my cat Leah, vomiting is not something that should be loved. That should not be that rare of a word. And as it's seen here, 12,468 words on this list is a pretty complete vocabulary. I'm wondering whether I'm going to keep this vocabulary from here and try to expand this as a separate language from here. I haven't determined that yet, but this is where I've gotten to. I've simplified a lot. I've simplified a lot of vowel. These are all direct sound changes from Spanish. Except I got one more thing I want to do here. Because this is copy this. And I got post and paste this. It's values only. There. Now this should go to 0. This 22 right here should go to 0. Yep, because I made the change. I posted them. I pasted them as changed. This is cooler than using this. This is work. This spreadsheet I designed here is a lot better than this here. This is the thing I used to use here. It's called find and replace, and that was just a pain because I couldn't use it on my tablet, and Android doesn't have that. Android's version of it doesn't have that. Of all things, I can't use it. But I designed a spreadsheet which made up for that. This is a replace. It replaces this with this. And here, let me go back to column A. Column A of this spreadsheet is frequency how common the word is, how common of a word it is. The second column is the amount, how frequent that particular word occurs, how common that word is when it occurs, how many appearances there are, whether it's something you talk about whenever you use this word, or whether it's something you only mention once when you're talking about it. Like you don't say the word. Like for example, I guess the word "the end." You wouldn't say "the end" as much. You'd say "the end" more often once at the end of stories. So even though the word is a pretty common word, every single story has "the end." You only have it once in a story, at the end. Well, that's what this would indicate. Like the highest on this list, the more frequently it would occur when it would occur. Let's see. Here we go. And to, because and would occur this and this and this and to this and to. In fact, the verb, every verb infinitive is with to. And what is it? The second column here is part of speech. Well, this one shows me here. The second column here is part of speech. That's what I can determine here. This isn't. I got this data from somewhere else on a spreadsheet I downloaded from a website, which had a complete list of 5,000, and then an intermittent every 7 out of 60,000 of vocabulary. So there's some strange vocabulary that got in here, but I think I got out of it. I deleted a lot of really the most like, idiomatic and untranslatable stuff that I had that I originally had. Okay, well, these are like the second column is part of speech. I had sorted by part of speech. Okay, A would be, I suppose, the articles. I guess articles would be like essentially what they would call possessive pronouns in English a lot of times, although they're not really pronouns. They're technically adjectives, possessive adjectives. So that would be A. C would be it looks like conjunctions. Yes, it looks like C would be once. More like adverbial phrases or something like that. Maybe something that some languages have. I don't know what. Well, this was up English, so I don't know what that. I could look at the list. I wonder what that list is. I keep having trouble finding that list whenever I go to look for it. I have to look up 60K words or something like that, and just kind of get to it through there, and it's hard to find it. Hard to find when I need to find it. Okay, so D. Okay, D would be let's see, all any some kind of adjective, some kind of common adjective. And here's one with only one. Whatever there is, it's only one of them. Now, I seems apparently prohibition. It seems a prohibitional phrase. Prepositions. Yeah, I seems obviously prepositions. Pretty clear. Pretty clearly prepositions. J. Okay, I got to J without seeing it. J. In fact, let's try this. This would be cool. Let's try. Well, better yet. No. What? I don't know what happened there. Okay. Here. Okay. There. There. And no, that will work. There. And just so I won't have to do that anymore, I'll change that to something else later. That's just, I like it better that way. Delete it all. There we go. And so eventually I'll change the background and make a good idea to change the background colors in each part of the speech, just so it'll make it. I don't know how many colors I'm going to want to put in this thing. Okay, it looks like C is long one, some kind of adjective, until, or maybe, wait a minute, how did I get, hold on, let me go back to where I want to be. I was down to J, okay, J is obviously adjective, J seems to be clearly adjectives. And I kind of like the way they kind of say mostly, well, some of these have conjugated, and some of these, well, some of the words are not only verb infinites, but also doubled as adjectives. For example, preocupado. It's all in Spanish. Not only is it an adjective, it's also a verb, a past participle. I think they call them past participles in Spanish also. Some of these words, like responsable, ends up coming espodabo after sound changes. Every single, okay, let me start with the columns. Adjectives. Going down the columns and which one it is. Okay, J's are adjectives. Let me go to the a little bit faster. Quite a few adjectives here. Adjectives, adverbs, and all pronouns. It was an episode. Yeah, I remember watching an episode of Sanford and Son one time. Somebody said to Fred, he says, "I'm glad to see you're a man who uses the proverbs." And he says, Fred says, "Yep, proverbs, adverbs, adjectives. I use them all. Proverbs, pronouns, adverbs, and adjectives. I use them all." Where's J? Okay, there's a lot of adjectives. I gotta go back here and go back down on my adjectives. And oh wait a minute, that's why I should do this with the songs. That's how I start doing my videos. I'll do this. Unpack your adjectives. Unpack my adjective, schoolhouse rock. There we go. I don't believe it. I'll let them put ads on it. I don't care. If that's what they do on YouTube, I don't care. Just maybe look at my adjective. Unpack your adjective. Unpack your adjectives.
As your body grows bigger, your mind must.
There,
It's great to learn,
'cause knowledge is power.
It's Schoolhouse Rocky, the chip off the block of your favorite schoolhouse rock. To begin our show, unpack your adjectives.
It's called Unpack. I remember watching this when I'm back in they used to play it on Saturday mornings back in the 70s. Well, that's the thing they got there. Well, I don't know how much of this they're gonna. Well, I don't know. They're gonna they're gonna scan it. They're gonna scan my. Well, maybe when I start doing that, maybe they'll just make my videos interesting. If I start doing that, if I start putting some copyrighted material, maybe or playing from other videos from other. If that's the way it works, I don't even know. I know that Tim Pool making his videos, he has some. Oh, this was a great idea to start doing this. But if you do it, I like the way this changed. See, some of it, in a way, it started to sound a little bit like Portuguese. What I was originally trying to do was I was trying to make a language using vocabulary. But it seemed like it was like a lateral away from Spanish and Portuguese, like an alternate, like filling the void that Catalan split off and flung Portuguese off this way, and flung Spanish down this way, and whatever. Like it's like a language that like another like a Iberian, a hypothetical Iberian language that was like Espangués, Fabla Espangués, and it was maybe thinking. But this is something this is some sound changes. This is this is going to be like a Romance language in its own. But this is all Spanish directly. These are all directly sound changes from Spanish. Okay. J's, like I said, J's adjectives. Unpack my adjective.
Saw people, places, and things.
Okay. But there we go.
Friends ask us to describe the people, places.
I don't think there's any reason I can't play this on here. Tell me, maybe it'll just make some. Maybe it'll add some. It'll inspire me to get interested and start making videos. I'll play this. I'll say, hey, your video has at least somebody's listened to it. Hey, there you go. At least the bots are listening to my videos. Well, maybe that's how I get it out there. Maybe the bots will spread them around. Well, I think you got to pick people out. You got to pick on people before they start saying, "Hey, stop listening." Hey, at least you're the first thing you got to start bothering people before other people start listening to you. Maybe that's what you got to do to start bothering people before other people start listening to you. Like, why bother them? Oh, because of this. Oh, maybe, hey, don't bother them. We'll listen to you. That's what it's all about, eh? Maybe that's what it's all about, eh? But, let's see. Fisatao. Like hydrating. Oh, I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna like the sound of this language. Fisatao. 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 It's not the tones. I don't think unless it's not Fisatao. Fisatao. That doesn't have that. Remember that doesn't have that. Man, I need water, by the way. Okay. I am back. Well, I paused for a while. Maybe it's not known. Okay, I was playing at school. I was actually playing Schoolhouse, wasn't I? I stopped to change my clothes and I forgot to do it. Okay, hold on. Okay, changed my clothes anyway. Something more comfortable to sit here. This is okay. Here, J is adjectives. I was playing to unpack my adjectives. Okay, here we go. I'll get back to what I was doing. It's been so long since I've been getting water and changing my clothes and all stuff like that. I forget how long it's been. I forget it. It's barely. I forget that I have paused. Okay, M. That's something numbers. I actually already arranged these by. Well, they're close. They're not really arranged. I've sorted them so many times. They're not going to be in order numbers anymore. Although, 6 and 7 happen to be. Okay. They didn't get shifted out. Me. That could be interesting. See. Could maybe almost. No, I wouldn't say that. Is this it? Well, the numbers were obviously something I'd have to read. I'd have to piece together something like in another language I made that was essentially another direct change from Spanish, plus some. I think I incorporated some healing language in this other language I'm talking about. I'll put that one. I'll make another video with that one after this one here. Actually, let's see. This is here's some changes that didn't even change. Segundo is exactly the same in Spanish and has no changes. No changes ever changed. Segundo is exactly the same. However, secuente next is seagull. That's even though that's not really a number, but it comes out as a number here. I guess it's part of speech. It could be in some languages. It could maybe it's represented by a number, increment +1 or something like that. Like in Java, ++, which is from C. I mean, take one of the greatest contributors to men. That should be, I think that maybe I should talk about maybe I should learn about Dennis Ritchie and find out just how much of it he's really I guess Dennis Ritchie is probably a god among MGTOW. Dennis Ritchie really allowed for everything. Dennis Ritchie allowed for C was what every essential language goes back to C. Everything goes back to C. I mean, everything goes back to Dennis Ritchie and Ken Thompson. Let's bring them up. Let's do a little brief homage to Ken Thompson, Dennis Ritchie. No, not Ken. You're kidding me, what's going on? Is it taking that long? Wait, it's taking crazy. Hold on a minute. Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. Ken Thompson. There they are. Dennis Ritchie.
Here's a summary.
I think you talked about Steve Jobs. She's like the opposite of everything. I could see Dennis Ritchie more. I'm sorry, I think Dennis Ritchie was much more important computer programming. He was much more important appealing computers. He appealed computers. He was the left computer. He appealed to the right. Okay, let's admit this way. The left is the spirit of the left is the left. The left is the needs of the mother. The right is the needs of the right. Is the desires of the father. I mean, this is appeal to the more feminine side, and these guys are being. Look at these guys. These are neckbeard. These are the gods of the neckbeards. I mean, look at this. I mean, what the hell? You can't say anything. You can't go wrong with that. With that description of what they are. These are the ones these are the guys who started the computer programming revolution. These are the guys who made computer programming. Every computer programmer owes everything. Every guy who ever told a computer what to do owes it to these two men right here. Okay. I really got to see the videos on this guy. And both of them, and really no, these guys are the ones. We're just going to tell computers what to do. We're just going to start telling all the machines what to do. We forget about people. We don't trust people anymore. We're telling machines what to do. These are the guys. Man, just go to your machines. Tell machines what to do. These are the guys who, for us having to depend on people, and we can depend on machines to do work for us. And just your logic to do work for us. How do we get that far? Okay, well, let's go. This might be something I edit out of this. Maybe I could start editing my videos too before I put them on there. It might be a good idea. Okay, well, this is interesting. Well, I'm going to take that over there. But there's no reason I can't. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'll go back to where I was going here. There we go. Here's the language here. This is, I don't know if a language, I don't have a name for this language. It's all direct sound changes from Spanish. I mean, this could be Spanish if really just, people just very consistently talk like this and just really, it's unlikely that the language would change so consistently all at once like this. That's because without having drifted more vocabulary. There should have been more vocabulary drift, I would imagine. But I would have added more vocabulary here. Well, this is just like a base vocabulary to adjust other words to something, delete some words and replace them with words that are not. So for some languages, some words that have really changed. Some of them barely, like cincolta doesn't even sound very phonetically, although some letters have changed. But here, almost think cuta y queso. It's 44. But cuta y queso. I'm not sure how to pronounce it yet, but that's something I don't want to sound too much like Spanish or Portuguese or anything like that. Although it has some, well, a little bit maybe, but not more so. Yeah, let's see. Zenta for 20. Zenta. Cuta y queso. 40 cuta. 40 is cuta y queso. Cuta y queso is 44. 1/5 is un coin. That'd be like a quart, but in 5 parts. Interesting. That could be something I could work into, like a more logically numbering system. I should show the one. I really got to start doing the one, showing the one other similar to this language. Medodos deos senta. Medodos deos kuta. Miskuta. Kuta. Maybe kuta, not kuta. Kuta would have an accent. And those are interesting. I come up with interesting rules for accents because they have a lot more accents than Spanish usually has. Because I replaced a lot of affricatives. I don't like affricatives. I really don't like it. And I removed R and L completely from this language. A lot more vowels, and I replaced a lot with accented vowels and different blends. And then I've combined diphthongs over and over again. Here, I'm getting back to the columns. M is numbers. N would be nouns. Okay, as you can see, this is eu would be the masculine definite article. Well, wa, the feminine definite article. But this is quite a change here. Wasadai. Why do I keep thinking of a tone? This isn't a tonal language. But that might be interesting. I don't think they're going to be wrong. Wasadai. La sensación wasadai. That's a nice change. I like some of these languages. They really got nice. Although I like the feeling. And it goes to the asadai. Probably wouldn't be the way I want to say I like. Into me is value, something like that. Espera. Now, that kind of a thing, that'd be 2 different syllables. Espera. That's the way that would be done. Espera. In that case, be hope. Espera. Second E is a rhyme. Espera. And la fetia. I like that better than fetcha. I never liked that because I don't like the fricatives. Cha. And I never liked representing it by a CH anyway either. Although that's the way in English and Spanish. The French and the Portuguese pronounce a sh. I think this is with SH. And Spanish doesn't have SH. But anyway, on the contrary, German doesn't have ch, but they do have sh, but it's made to SCH. And the way they had to put ch, they have to put a T in front of that. So they had to start Czechoslovak. And they got stuck with a country which starts with the CZ and pronounces ch. And they had to start the name in German Czechoslovak with TSCH. H. 4 letters. The point Ilpe, that could be good. Ilpe, that could be, I don't know, some of the vocabulary has gotten to the point where it's so actually gotten so it got corrupted to the point that unrecognizable, unviable. But I think something as common as point, I would say pay could Ilpe. That's not uncommon enough to justify a full. I mean, just that to justify what am I talking about? I don't know. La hizo. Let's bring up la hizo. Usted más. Hueso. That probably, if it's going to be the first, if there's going to be an accent on what would normally be, I think this is a rule about pronunciation. If there's an accent on what would otherwise be, a stressed syllable, then it would elongate it. So this would be hueso. And there might be some other rules that it might make that one. But I like, this is a word that's the same, that didn't even change, de más. Más, of more. Well, because in Spanish it should be of more. I think de más, or from more. The others. From more, I mean from the others around us. From more of us. I guess because that's how they express it. Idiomatically. It's kind of idiomatic, I think. And I'm going to scroll down to get the other parts of speech. Esposta, I like that. Esposta. Me muevo. Enemigo, hey, stayed the same. Me stebo. I think that's what it would be. Mistebo. Let's see. I'd buy today. I don't know. Apple day, but I like that appearance. Apple day. Koibata. It seems very logical. I don't know my time with it. Mitad, well, it's half the same thing. Koise. Entusosomo. Voboma. Probama. Voboma. I like the way Zabaso. I like the way that these words in Spanish have shifted into a new problema. Voboma. Zabaso. Trabajo has changed to Zabaso. And problema as el problema has become el voboma. I'd say that age could be enough to be age. I like that for age. That's short enough. I might be able to use, these could become different parts of speech if the words become too, I'm thinking that if some of these become too small, that they could be unusable, unconjugated, they've corrupted the word conjugability. That I might just like to convert them to other parts of speech, that maybe introduce another vocabulary from another language, and add those as like root words for some kind of those kind of something like the new part of speech or something like that comes from old Spanish and goes that's corrupt. It's been shifted out of old Spanish into a different part of speech. And they needed some other type of part of speech to come up from another language to compensate for it. That's what they're kind of the way languages work. But let me go into a YouTube constructed languages online, YouTube bloggers. V-log language construction. Oh, come on. Can ever, my goodness. This is interesting. This language, city came out as Ilcoyo. 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 No, it's the care, not the care. The city. Oh, that's why. Okay, then never mind. All because el cuidado. It's almost like la ciudad. It looks like, I thought it was city. I'm like, wait a minute. They look similar. The words for city and caution look almost the same in Spanish. And I got confused. And I felt like, wow, that changed a lot from this other language I had. Although it says all those sounds changes from Spanish. It's probably changed because I haven't got the city yet. Ciudad. El Solio. I like the way that changed it. I like the way that changed. Solio. El Vino. This could have been a lost Spanish. Never got anywhere. A lost Spanish dialect that went off to a Pacific island somewhere and didn't even alter off into any other vocabulary. They'll say they were. This could be Spanish speaking people in a generational ship. I mean, that's what this is. All Spanish vocabulary. Although there's a lot of modern Spanish vocabulary in there too, so it wouldn't have been on. It wouldn't have been on ship for any Spanish vocabulary from back then. Rebecca Elton. Okay. Huh. Huh. Suppose. What kind? Kanig. Where we go with this? Okay. I don't know where I went to. Okay. Hold on a minute. Somewhere the word código, which is unchanged except for the chain that I got to see. Contado. It's good. Contado. It's a nice change. Contado. It means counted. So, contar, I believe that would mean, or it might mean, I don't know, because I changed R a while ago. But there was no R in there before that, so that might be conduct. No, Kega. It's interesting for colleague. That could be it. That could be good. Coma. That would be something. Sieki. This is the Osieku. Well, N is noun. I'm going to try. Okay. Gobso. 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 The compose. The compound. The compound. Yeah. The complex. I can see how the complex. The composo easily. Goso. Destino. I'm still going through I'm still going through each category, so it's okay. It's okay to comment on each one of them. I mean, the way. Faith. Obey. Interesting. Obey. Double accent ease the end there. I mean, that may be something I might need to figure out and change, but it's done. Edad. It's interesting how that came from edad. It came from edad in Spanish. From relation, revolution. That's interesting. Cross became kus, and revelation became evioi. What's the difference? Maybe they need. I'm thinking they may need to bring their one of the maybe there's some of the words related to religion have actually been altered out of. Maybe that's why they need. Maybe the idea that might be a that may be a reason to bring a vocabulary for the religion. Maybe this religion lost their words for religion. That's how they got it from another one. That's how the other vocabulary entered into. Maybe that's why I thought of the idea of incorporating Swahili into the other one, and the other Spanish change. Vengada versus venganza, which would be the venganza. Vengeance would be Bengada. I like that. It sounds like Benghazi, but I don't think that just means anything. The drain of the Selassie. Opso. Oboto. Display. Interesting double accent words. I kind of like that. I'm gonna count that as something I want to keep rather than something I want to get rid of. I might want to change some more diphthongs. Well, I don't know. Yeah, how much more I want to change before I want to start this as a sufficiently altered in Spanish only. Before I start to clip it down into something else, and before I start to playing it, I'm probably going to. I want to try to quote it in some kind of Java program doing this kind of stuff rather than doing it. And I think it's outgrowing the spreadsheet medium. I think I want to move this up to Java. Combustible. That's pretty combustible. Combustible. Code. The whole be code. Code. Eu code. Eu code. Conjunto. Code. Conjunto. Code. Conjunto. Yeah, I can see. Coite. In the cut. Comite. That's almost the same thing, except for the K, of course. Duh. And those. Gay. I don't like it, but Gaido. No, that's not bad. Ufobo, okay. Fosso for iron. Feu for iron. Feu. And it starts with F. Fosso for bone. Hueso is fosso. Huevo is fobo. Egg is fobo. Attempt is eoi. Intento. El intento. Exchange is with cambio. Intercambio. Hoy cambio. like this one. Opineo. Opineo. Centavo. I like represent. El representative or el representante is el representado. El representado. El representado. El representado. El representado. Un poco que portugués. Simple. Outito. Zen. El zapato. Comida, some meals, comida. So some of these words, some of the Spanish words will still be in there. I might just. I don't know. I'll find out what I'll do. Obeitar. Proposta. Abogado, the word for lawyer. The lawyers changed to funny the word for religion. That's interesting. Yeah, the words for religion and faith and stuff have changed. So the word for lawyer has stayed the same. That sucks. Well, abogado, el abogado. So that's why this language needs some faith. That's why the word for cross and the word for revelation have changed into unrecognizable, have been mangled unrecognizable, while the word for lawyer has stayed exactly the same. And ironically, advocate. It's what the word really means. Advocate was just lawyers were just, this is your connection to the king, telling you what you own of your connection to what the property, representing your property, the one between you and the king. It was the crown, you and the crown. Because in England, because the king spoke spoke French, Norman French, while the people spoke the people spoke in England, Middle English, various dialects of English throughout the time. They didn't. They had to use lawyers as interpreters between the people and to say, hey, this is how to represent it to the crown, to the courts. The courts were just like the lawyers brought their claims to the property, and then property became more abstract as laws became more abstract, and now you have these people. Now you have an ambulance chase created out of people who are trying to tell people, tell people that they own what their property is to the king, and now it's become someone looking for people who've gotten into accidents and who owes them for something. Some of them have gotten, the worst of them have become that. But it's amazing what bad spirit can do. And that's one thing I've realized from that podcast I've been listening to, a little bit of the history of English. It almost seems like the history of law. And this guy himself is a lawyer who hosts the podcast. He's got Kevin Stroud. I should start listening to that one more because that's pretty awesome, really. The history of English. It's like a lawyer was just a person who talked to the king and told you which property you owned, and it became so trivialized when law became so trivialized throughout the ages. Each time a law gets trivialized, something. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I should put this video up.